James, what does that mean? Obviously, it's the emotional time for
Thanks, Justin. Oh, it was a terrific win. I think it just shows the courage and the heart of the players that we've got. It's obviously been a very tough time for the whole footy club for the last 4 or 5 weeks. But the players that we've got are very special people. They've gone through a terrible 6 months in terms of the scrutiny they've been put under and the pressure they've been put under. And I think to come out and play that way after the week we've had is pretty amazing. But they've amazed us all year.
There was an emotion in the room that's hard to describe. What does that win mean?
Well, it's been a pretty emotional place, Essendon Footy Club. I think I can't remember in my life a group of people being criticised and had stuff thrown at them ever before the way we have. And it's brought us close together, despite what people want to say about the fractures at the club, the fact that the players don't want to play here, the fact that people don't want to be at our club. That's just not true. And I think if you saw the rooms tonight, you saw our training sessions, you saw the way we act around each other. And yes, there's been questions asked and there's been answers given as to the reason why things have happened. There's been a lot of emotion at our footy club, but we're a very tight group. And to win tonight and the emotion in the rooms, not just the players, but the support staff, the supporters, the coterie group members, the board, we are tight. And we've obviously got a bit ahead of us before we wait and see what happens. But we're a very tight group, and I think the group will get even tighter as we move through it.
Was the preparation in any way like that?
It was. I mean, there's obviously a big day. I don't know. There are also new big days. It was a Wednesday when the AFL put those charges out in the media, and the whole footy club was pretty rocked by that. So that was a big day. And there's been a lot of meetings about that. There's been a couple of board meetings. There's been people talking. There's been media everywhere. But through that, we've actually had a pretty good preparation. And the assistant coaches in Simon and Sean and Matthew have done a great job pulling it together. And as crazy as it sounds, I've actually found some time to review the opposition and watch some tape of Carlton during the week, which I hadn't for the last few weeks. So I thought this week was more normal than maybe the others.
So do you reckon that may, without making excuses, but the previous 4 weeks, is that a contributing factor, do you reckon, given we weren't really able to fulfil your duties as a coach as we would like?
I wouldn't say fulfil my duties. I think that's probably stretching it. But no, I don't. I mean, I don't. Look, it's sometimes you review a game harder than others, and just depends on the circumstances. But no, I just think this week was a good week, and the players were able to come through the emotion of the. I think a couple of weeks ago when they got the all clear from Asada, that was probably the more emotional week, and we've been building since then.
In recent weeks, Mick Morris has been pretty outspoken about the whole Essendon stuff. How did you take it? Did you have a problem with that?
I was disappointed. I mean, not because it was Mick. It was just disappointed because I think the facts. People should comment when they've got all the facts, and no one outside of our club can have all the facts. So, it's not just Mick. I mean, there's been everyone in Australia's had an opinion on what we've gone through. So, I think that on innuendo and half truths and some facts, it's hard to make a precise comment. And I would hope that over the coming weeks or days, we'll be able to get a lot of those facts out there, so people will have a better understanding, not a full understanding, but a better understanding of what happened, and we'll be able to obviously, show some remorse, show some sorrow, and explain our part of the story, which won't all be good. There'll be some parts of the story which everyone will be apologetic for, but there'll be some sides of the story that I think people will be surprised at maybe that what happened that they didn't think happened.
There's been a lot of speculation that tonight will be your last game as coach. Are you able to pour cold water on it?
I can put lukewarm water on it and see what happens. I'm not sure. I mean, the club's obviously going through negotiations with the AFL. I haven't had negotiations with the AFL personally on my future. If that happens in the next couple of days, I'm sure you guys will find out. But we'll wait and see what happens. We've got the commission hearing on Monday, and we'll wait and see how all that goes.
So short term, do you want to coach against Richmond next week?
I'd love to coach against Richmond, yeah. I'd love to coach against Richmond, love to coach the finals, and love to coach next year, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Back on Malthouse, did you use that at all in the pre-match for your players? In terms of the motivation?
No, I didn't. Look, I don't want you to play that. If you play that point too strongly in the media, I think it would be disappointing, because it's not to hold a grudge against Mick or anything. As I said, the facts of I think you should reserve your judgment on anything, not just us, on anything, till you know all the facts.
What are you waiting for before you tell your side of the story, James? Because that does put its side out pretty strongly.
Well, we've got a commission hearing on Monday. I think you want to make sure that before you approach any sort of tribunal or charges, that you actually do it in the right forum, rather than scattergun effect. I mean, I've been roundly criticised for not telling my side of the story for the last 6 months, but when I went to the Asada interview, I gave my word to Asada that I wouldn't talk about what happened in that interview, because they didn't want me to pollute the process. I was asked by the football club not to talk on 2 or 3 occasions when I wanted to, which is fine. I'm not upset about that, but because they didn't want me to pollute the process. That process is almost finished, but if someone says we really don't want you to talk, and they're the football club and Asada, I think you should respect that. And in the 30 seconds that I'm outside my house and have to answer those questions, this is probably not the time, I don't think, to go into details. And that will come, and I hope people have an understanding of why I have had to wait. It's been very difficult to have to hold your tongue, but and I'm not saying that everything I'll say will be good and reflect well on myself, but I'd say the majority of it will be better than what's been put out there.
The President said before the game that he makes this tournament wrapped up in the next few days. He said, possibly even offered the chance to do things separately and fight your own battle apart from the club. Would you prefer to have it all wrapped up together in the next few days, or would you go ahead?
I'd love to do it, along with the club. I mean, everything I've done has been along with the club. I'd love to finish it with the club, but that will play out, and we'll wait and see. It's the club and myself are obviously, I see as one entity, but as I said, I haven't sat down with anyone, had that conversation yet, and if that does happen the next day or two, then that will I'll be able to tell you. Will I be there Monday? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that all works. You have to ask people a bit smarter than me.
Have you received the information you've asked for?
I don't think so. I can't give you a 100% guarantee there, because that's probably in the hands of other people.
Thanks, guys.
Let them go, mate. You keep going. Yep. Ask what you want to ask.
Just on Joe, James, he continues to get booed by opposition supporters. A, does that frustrate and disappoint you a fair bit? And B, just on his ability to play through that and continue to lead the team in a fairly inspiring fashion?
Yeah, if someone could answer what he's being booed for, that would be interesting. I think the misguided nature of what he's being booed for on West Coast has been cleared up, and what happened around that substance, and I think that seems to me to be cleared up. So I'm not sure why he's being booed. If someone could tell me why, it would be great. But Job's a champion person, champion player. He's done it as tough as anyone over the last 6 weeks, and to come out and play the way he did and lead his club to a pretty good victory was terrific. So it's disappointing he's still getting booed, but I actually don't understand why people would boo Job. Yeah, we haven't made any decision to withdraw that, so that's in the hands of the lawyers and the AFL, and that will play out as it goes.
James, you said you gave your word to say that you wouldn't chat. It must be disappointing that it appears that there have been a few leaks from the start of the media.
Well, look, I don't know where the leaks have come from, but there has been plenty of leaks, that's been disappointing. That personal information, not just of mine, but personal information of a lot of people has ended up in the media, when I can understand the need for transparency, but that seems to go further than transparency.
James, do you think Essendon will play finals?
I hope we do. Probably not the right person to ask. You know, there's a board, there's the AFL, and they have discussions, and I find out, like, you know, not like you guys do, but hopefully a bit before that.
Do you discuss that with your players?
Yeah, we discussed it tonight. We discussed it before the game, and, you know, to be perfectly honest, I said to the players, I don't know what's going to happen over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know whether we're going to be playing a live game next week. But let's go and play this game, play it as hard as we can, and we'll deal with that later in the week. And the good thing about this playing group is we've been very honest with them, and they've been honest with me around how they're feeling, how they're coping. And it'd be a tragedy for our playing group if they didn't play finals. And it, you know, for me, and I'm giving a personal opinion, it's not the club opinion. I see that, you know, losing premiership points is something that goes along with, you know, with cheating, and, you know, I don't think we have cheated. So that's my opinion, but I don't make that decision.
James, if you were to be suspended, would you have thought about whether or not you want to come back after, regardless of how long it is?
Well, first of all, I want to prove that I'm innocent of a lot of that. Well, 99% of those charges. I look at those charges and they make me sick. That they're out there, and that people would believe that is the truth about me, and I'm determined to clear that up. And then we'll go from there about suspension or not suspension. But the priority for, not just for me, but for the club and myself, is to clear a lot of those charges up. And then, of course, I want to come back and coach if I do get suspended. I started a job 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, and we've developed a team into a competitive team. It's not the best team in the AFL, but it's a good team. We've won 14 wins this year. It's the most, I think, since 2001 at this club. We're building along the right direction, and I love the players I coach. I love the people I work with, and I love our supporters. And this year has brought us all closer together. So if I do end up not coaching for a period over the time because of suspension, I can't wait to come back.
Why do you want to continue to answer the questions tonight? I mean, I know it's been hard over the last 7 months or so to have to quiet your tongue, but is it just something too much?
No, it hasn't. I just think it's like I've been asked not to answer them, and I just think that there's a lot out there that, you know, I'm quite happy to sit here and answer them. I think that sometimes I understand why the club doesn't want things answered, but I think that as long as the questions aren't too controversial, that I'm quite happy to answer.
So then what about the personal criticism this week about your press conference, or was it Tuesday, Wednesday, that you made about yourself rather than players? Did that hurt you personally?
I'm not sure how. Yeah, I'm not sure how I made it about myself. There were charges laid against me that I responded to, and Paul responded to the charges against the club. I've sat here, you know, every game. I think it's 21 games, every Friday press conference, and I don't think I've very rarely talked about myself. It's all about the care I have for the players, and the fact that I love the players. I work very closely with the players, and I think there's a mutual respect there. So, you know, to be honest, I haven't read the papers for 4 or 5 days. You could understand, but if people felt I made it all about myself, well, I'm sorry for that. It wasn't meant to be all about myself, but those charges were specifically aimed at me, and I thought I needed to respond to that.
James, have you been constrained in what you can say in a way that might reflect better on you by the legal rights?
No, Jake. No, I've been constrained by what I've been able to say because I was asked by Asada to not say anything, and I took that very seriously.
Is there any sort of concerns you see for who's that suspended if it meant saying you can't lose the club otherwise?
If it meant the club didn't get premiership points and they didn't lose draft picks and the players were clear, there'd be definitely a situation that I'd, you know, if that was what the best thing for the club was, yes. But that, I don't know what that how that looks or what it looks like, and it's probably too early to speculate on what that would be.
So the president also said tonight that if you do get suspended, the club wants you to come back and coach again. That was whether it said the same thing to you personally. What is that sort of assurance?
That's fantastic. Yeah, if that's what's been said, that's great. As I said, I want to be coaching here for a long time, and I've really appreciated the support the club has given me through this 6 months, and the board, and also the players and everyone around the club and the supporters. You look at what's happened at this club in 6 months, and it's been terrible. But the way the supporters have rallied around the club, and the closeness of the club, is we have to be able to grow from that. And this will hopefully end very shortly, and we can move on and accept responsibility for what we need to, and say sorry for what we should say sorry for. But I think we can really grow from this as a football club.
Has the club got in contact with the supposed mother of that football player, the Essendon player, the train trip?
We've tried to not find out who it was from a witch hunt point of view, but just tried to find out who it was, so we could, from a duty of care, which is a common word at the moment, point of view, talk to the mother. And we've talked to a lot of players about it, and I'm not saying it. How do I say this? We haven't been able to find out who it is. We've talked to a lot of guys and a lot of parents in the, I suppose, that demographic, and that hasn't. We haven't been able to find out who that was.
Have you got a view on just yourself personally whether you deserve to get punished?
Probably answer that in a few days rather than right now. It's an interesting question. I mean, there's obviously things that I'm responsible for in a football club, which I'll take responsibility for. Whether that requires punishment or not, that's it'll be a question for other people to answer.
You get straight into negotiation tomorrow. You just keep talking first thing tomorrow to get a couple of hours.
Negotiations, or
In terms of where this heads next.
Might
start relatively early tomorrow. Yeah.
Just say you are suspended, let's just say.
You're keen on that, aren't you?
What if, how would you see, have you had a chance to think in your mind what the possible setup would be in that gap year that you may have to sit out?
So it's a year now?
Well, let's just start, whatever time it is.
Yep.
Have you had a chance in your mind to think what the setup may be in your absence?
No, look, I haven't. You got to appreciate that we're not. I haven't even dealt with. I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, we wake up every morning and there's a new story, there's a new angle, there's a new person predicting what's going to happen. And I'd love to be able to think in our lives, in the club's lives, the players' lives. We'd love to be able to think a week in advance, but for the last 6 months we haven't been able to think 4 hours in advance. It's so to answer your question, I'm not sure.
James, can I just ask, do you regret undertaking that supplements program now?
That's a really interesting question, because I'd probably like to answer that. Do I regret? I certainly regret what's happened in 2012. Some certain aspects of what's happened in 2012. Yeah. I think the whole club does.
James, Mick Knoll hasn't reported to know with you before the game. Did he say anything about the comments that he made in the last couple of weeks?
No, just a private conversation between Mick and myself. There's probably been too many private conversations made public of late, so probably keep that between Mick and I.
You made history tonight, so you get Jordan being a general manager.
Yes, she only lasted about an hour though. Mark Evans decided that that wasn't going to happen. Thanks, guys. See you later.